I'm sorry, are you buying her roses? Wow. So on brand.
Colton Underwood details every step of his split with Cassie Randolph for the first time. 8 months after the Bachelor Colton Underwood's romance with final rose recipient Cassie Randolph quoted, he's sharing exactly what happened to make the situation so thorny. Falling in love is like open heart surgery. He wrote of the experience. Breaking up is like seeing your heart in someone else's hands and realizing the anesthesia has gone off. Yes, it hurt. The pain was excruciating. And it didn't help that he was recovering from actual excruciating physical pain because it was right around the time the former NLL tight end was diagnosed with COVID-19 last March that their problems really began to crystallize. The deal breakers has always been there. He shared in his book. Cass felt there was pressure on her to commit one way or the other because of the way our relationship unfolded so publicly on television. He noted of the constant questions about when she might be ready for an engagement. I tried to give her space. She didn't feel like I saw all the different sides of her, especially the small town girl who liked the slow pace and quiet of her bedside hometown. Sometimes she would say outright, I feel like you don't understand me. But that issue was ever so slightly pushed to back burner as Cassie and her family helped Colton recover from the virus that left him shivering, drenched in a sweat, and terrified he might actually die. I struggled to breathe. Nothing is scarier than not being able to fill your lungs with fresh air. He details of the week-long experience. They was at about 20% capacity. Everything hurt, from the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. But as his fever broke, and he began hanging out around her family, I realized that I was sometimes more stupid than smart when it came to always wearing a mask. He admitted California's stay-at-home orders placed another burden of their struggling romance. It was when Cass, as I finally tried to grab back a bit of normalcy, that I realized the virus was only part of much larger problem, Colton wrote. After more than a month of being cooped up in her family's home, both of us were feeling overwhelmed and smothered and eager to return to our respective apartments where we could enjoy our own space. Before we left, though, she took me aside and told me she was struggling with everything in our relationship and didn't know what to do. My husband like one of those characters in a cartoon. What? She was struggling with everything. Once the shock wore off, he realized that the misfires and miscues between them were actually more like one of those proverbial deaths by 1,000 paper cuts to Cassie, but in the moment, he wasn't ready to hear it. I put my finger to my lips for silence. She stopped mid-sentence. He said, both of us had always agreed to avoid finishing hard conversations like this one. We didn't want to come to the conclusion that we weren't good for each other. We were scared of confronting that truth, so we didn't. But for all of his attempts to go back to the connection they had as they celebrated their first anniversary in St. Lucia, it became clear their relationship was essentially over save for 3 magic words: we're breaking up.
Welcome back to our live Bachelor